Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Johnny from Some Call Me Johnny and Chris Kerber-Ferniosi to discuss the recent rumor of Kingdom Hearts 2.9. So let's get started. So a rumor just popped up not too long ago, it's starting to make the rounds, of a Square Enix game designer from Osaka that has updated their public LinkedIn page with basically Kingdom Hearts information, both from something called Kingdom Hearts 2.9 as well as Kingdom Hearts 3. And this has led to a lot of debate about, one, what the heck Kingdom Hearts 2.9 is, and whether you can actually take at face value what he's saying that he worked on in Kingdom Hearts 3. And so I thought we'd get together and go through all this and unpack it and see whether or not we actually buy this. Now, I'm getting this information from KH3.com, a really good resource for Kingdom Hearts news and information. And they've already done some research into this LinkedIn profile. Basically, they admitted there is a small possibility that it is fabricated, but the profile is linked to other profiles that are verified to be legitimate, and their page contains a lot of information about the designer's career that is also legitimate. So this seems to be true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that 2.9 is a guaranteed thing. So once again, let's just get pure reactions. Chris, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think before anything, we should read a little bit of the specifics about this, because there's more to it that also kind of links back to other things that we might have even talked about on the show before. Mm-hmm. It says, after listing the information, the basic stuff you mentioned, that it was found by searching specifically Kingdom Hearts 2.9 on LinkedIn. So somebody, would have already had to have had the idea to look for that in the first place. And they also mentioned that this news follows a leak from E3 2015, which I wasn't even aware of. I never heard anything about that either, where Kingdom Hearts 2.9 temporarily appeared on the official Square Enix Presents schedule screen before being quietly removed. And this was also suspected to be fake at first, but we have since verified that Kingdom Hearts 2.9 did indeed appear on this official screen on the show floor. Was it a mistake or something more? But then also, apparently, Tetsuya Nomura may have also, said somewhere that whatever that was is not, legitimate. It's not happening. There's nothing going on with that. Was there a quote somewhere about that? Because I've never heard about anything of this relating to something at E3, which, wasn't too long ago, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anything of that myself. When I first heard about this rumor of Kingdom Hearts 2.9, I'm like, well, that sounds fake as hell. Just sort of pushed it aside. But then as soon as I started doing research, this article popped up. So I have no idea what it could mean, but what do you think, Johnny?
Okay, first off, if this is true, 2.9, extremely stupid name. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's can we wait? That didn't really take long for us to think of, right? Let's put it this way. If it is true, I'd imagine why they wait till now to announce something like this, if it is, of course, all factual. If for E3, that's for your Megaton announcements. That's where 3 gets all the attention. 2.9, from what it sounds like, looks to be a re-release of 2.5D, or maybe a combination of 1.5 and 2.5, which for some reason makes 2.9 and not 3.0 for the PlayStation 4. And to me, that doesn't just hold as much water as a Kingdom Hearts 3 news. So to me, I got a feeling that we may hear something more about this for Tokyo Game Show. That's coming up soon, is it not?
Next week, yes.
Next week, okay. And news like this pops up, which is bound to happen right before we get announcements and major conventions. I got a feeling this is a legitimate thing, but as someone that already has 1.5, 2.5, if this is just pretty much bringing it to the PS4 or possibly Xbox One, then there's nothing else to say here. It's another way for people to get caught up on the Kingdom Hearts mythos, so I'm always down for that. I'd like to see if there's any new content in there, and whether or not there's a possibility of maybe a Dream Drop Distance port. That would, to me, would justify another purchase for me. But as someone that is, plays Kingdom Hearts, I would say casually, I'm not a hardcore KH fan, but I can get down with this. I'm gonna buy it anyway when it comes out, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, on that note too, I mean, when I was told about this literally about 20 minutes ago before we started recording, my immediate thought was that, oh, maybe this is something about the rumors of Dream Drop Distance, getting ported, because that is the last chronological game that takes place before Kingdom Hearts 3, as far as we know. Now, here's the other thing to consider too. Obviously, we have Unchained Key coming out very soon in the U.S., in which case that is, from what I understand, if my recollection of that game is true, that's going to be something that'll be updated. It seems like even though Dream Drop Distance was, I think, the one that everybody was thinking, oh, this is it, this is the lead into 3. Unchained Key is kind of them. I hesitate to say buying themselves time, because they've been doing it for a while anyway, and this is just like a port that we're getting over here for mobile devices. But in some ways, it is buying them time in terms of like tying people over with content related to the universe and everything, because they've been making a big deal about how, oh, it's going to have all these hints about, what's going to happen in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's going to answer a lot of questions about stuff that happened before any of the games, even going back before Birth by Sleep, etc. And and having updates and giving all these clues and things over the course of probably at least the next year, until at least 3 is talked about more in the following E3, and maybe even released next year if we're lucky. if we're lucky. So I don't know. It seems like doing, for one thing, from a business standpoint, it seems like doing another thing like that when before 3 comes out, like another game in addition to Unchained Key would seem like kind of like overkill. And I don't know, Dream Drop Distance is too new, for one thing, and especially the HD ports are even more new, and people already have them. So I don't know, it doesn't whatever this is, it doesn't seem like something that would even logically like make sense for them. Like I'm trying, I've talked about this on probably the other ones we did, about the other Kingdom Hearts discussions. When I see stuff like this, I try to think about it like from the developer's point of view. And I mean, not that I claim to be an expert, but I just doesn't look like something that would make any sense for them to do in the first place with kind of the game plan that they have set. It's certainly possible that it could be something of some kind, but as to what it really could be, like nothing that we know of would make sense except for something completely new. And the completely new thing that they're making a big deal about is 3. So yeah. It's like, do we really expect them? No, actually, here's another like short Kingdom Hearts like prequel to 3 game that'll be after Dream Drop Distance and before 3. It's like, are they really going to pull that out of their butts like after all of this? I don't see that happening.
So one of the things I wonder, looking at, because he listed what he worked on with this game, and one of the things he includes is something called attraction flow planning and documentation, which is also something that's in Kingdom Hearts 3 under his LinkedIn profile for that game. And I wonder if that's sort of like an updated version of the flow motion system. I mean, it has flow in the title. Maybe I'm reaching here, but maybe that could indicate that this is Dream Drop Distance on a console, and specifically PS3, PS4. Now, it's interesting that this is also doing PS3 as well, but it could also mean, just because it is 2.9 right before 3, maybe they're really going to try to sell people on this by putting a Kingdom Hearts 3 demo in this thing. And that would sell this game like hotcakes.
Nah, but you also forget, my dear Derek,
yes.
Attraction flow is specifically not flow motion necessarily, but is in reference to the attraction abilities in 3 that they've been teasing, the ones based on the different Disneyland and Disney World rides. And right. You'll actually see if you go down a little bit further, on the Kingdom Hearts 3 development list of specific things that he did involved with the game, attraction flow, planning, and documentation is actually on both that and the Kingdom Hearts 2.9 stuff that he lists. Mm-hmm. So now I would assume that has to do with the development and implementation of those special abilities into the game's combat engine. And considering they're listed the same in both, that would imply that those abilities are also in 2.9. Now, for one thing, let's go with the demo idea, because that actually is a pretty good point. It is possible that maybe certain features would be carried over into that, but then again, if that were the case, wouldn't more specific things be brought into that, specifically? Wouldn't more things that are seen on the Kingdom Hearts 3, little bullet points of things that he worked on the development of, be in the 2.9 list of bullet points as well?
Okay, alternate idea to that, and sorry for cutting you on this, Johnny. I feel bad that we're monopolizing
sorry,
this.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a game explain
feel free to
discussion.
steamroll over me.
Game explain discussion. I am but a peasant.
Know your role. But what I was going to get at is maybe this is something rather than a demo. Maybe it's something like Ground Zeroes was for Phantom Pain, where it's sort of like that quick preview where you get to try the attraction flow system in this little prologue for Kingdom Hearts 3, and that would also hold people over. So maybe not a demo, but also kind of a demo. It's just new content that's not going to...
It's like a prologue to a prologue. That's what you were saying?
Exactly. Come on, they would do something like that.
They get fire horses, Riku loses an arm. I think I'm down with this.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible, or?
I actually do. I think that's very possible. And actually, on that note, let's actually look real quick, because I think that this is relevant to the point. Let's look at the stuff specifically on the Kingdom Hearts 3 bullet points. Mm-hmm. Original level planning, documentation, execution for 2 worlds specifically, including enemy, items, secrets, and event management, so overseeing the actual design of the levels themselves. Mock-up creation for 3 worlds, including temporary asset creation, so at least the design phase of 3 other worlds. Game idea planning and documentation, very general. Game check and balance, also very general. Enemy planning and documentation. Gumi ship system planning and documentation. I'm sure it's no surprise that Gumi ship stuff would be in 3. Multiplayer planning and documentation, which I do believe Nomura has talked about in some interviews, that they wanted to try to implement a multiplayer option of some kind in 3. Main scenario planning for 2 worlds, which is story relation, so probably to the same ones of the original level planning he mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. Various in-game dialogue writing, obvious. Translation and interpretation of contact between involved English and Japanese parties, including Disney and Pixar, probably consistency of terminology between the Japanese and English versions. Publicity, video recording and editing for trailers and stuff. Communication with outsourced companies. Holding meetings with Disney and Pixar, team management, meeting management, and proceeding recordings. So this guy is very heavily involved in a lot of like ground level, or not ground level, but like rather core things relating to the development of the game. If we're taking this as this is possible. So for one thing, the mention of Pixar. If I'm remembering right, if I know my Did You Know Gaming correctly, the only trace of any Pixar stuff in any of the games at any point was that there was planned to be a Woody and Buzz summon in Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix that was never finished. Is that right, or am I leaving any other Pixar-related stuff out?
I think you're correct about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I will stick by what I said. I don't think that there's going to be any Pixar worlds in the game. And until they were to finish up 3 and maybe go on to 4. That's just my personal, theory. But it's very possible that maybe they could be finally trying to implement that idea of having summons that are Pixar characters, if anything. And also just Disney and Pixar are so kind of, tied to the hip anyway that, it might have more to do with, like, say, talking to Lasseter, who represents both sides of that, who I imagine he probably has plenty to say about the whole deal with this, if anything. And then looking back again at the 2.5 stuff, game idea planning and documentation, game check and balance, boss planning, and attraction flow planning and documentation. Now, let's go with your Phantom Pain. What was the not demo, but like the pre-version of 5 called?
Ground Zeroes.
Ground Zero. So let's go with that theory, because I actually do like that. What if, say, the 2.9, quote unquote, had, say, here's a preview of, I don't know, the Olympus stage, and you fight against the Rock Titan, and you get to see what the attraction flow stuff is like. Maybe, in fact, as you look at the trailer we had recently with the backstory stuff with young Xehanort and young Ericus, maybe there will be some stuff that leads into the meat of the plot of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm. And I'm down with the idea of a demo. I am, but looking at this this list here, there's one thing that's making me giving it a second thought, and that it's 2.9 is listed specifically as PS3, PS4. I don't think a Kingdom Hearts 3 demo would be feasible on a PS3 if it's being built for the PS4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, that just makes it very vague, ambiguous as to what 2.9 it plans on having if it has similar, if the guy had similar work related duties on 2.9 compared to 3.0. I guess that's what I really wanted to say. Maybe it's like a really long and elaborated. You know how like in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, you get all the Dalmatians and the journals and stuff. You get like that extended trailer or something like that. Maybe that's what they mean. And I think by technicality, you can list some of these aspects because some part of Kingdom Hearts 3 is in the game. But because 2.9 is listed for last generation, next generation, I don't think a demo would be feasible unless they went out of their way to make a demo specifically for a PS3 build, which I think is unlikely, very unlikely, unless they would have scrapped 2.9 for the PS3 completely and just leave it exclusively on PS4 or Xbox One.
Well, so is Ground Zero, the Metal Gear 5 prequel mini thing, was that content that was eventually in the finalized Phantom Pain game, or was it its own thing that just led into the main story of 5?
Well, Ground Zeroes from the get-go was developed for all platforms, including next-gen. Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically is PS4, Xbox One. So if you were to say do the Ground Zeroes Phantom Pain plan, where you release a prologue game and then the actual meat of the story, just for the sake of consistency, it would need to be on all the platforms the prologue was released on. But we know for a fact Kingdom Hearts 3 is PS4, Xbox One specifically, when something like Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain were released on every console this past generation and this current generation.
Do we know anything at all further? Because again, going back to the beginning, I never heard anything about this deal with like supposedly something about 2.9 was mentioned or like accidentally leaked out at E3 this year. Do we know anything else about the details of that?
I like you, I hadn't heard anything. This is the first I've heard about 2.9 at all, and it's it just sort of popped out of nowhere. Nobody brought it up. That's the weird thing. Like the KH3 mentions it, but I have not seen it at all.
It's still pretty feasible because let's put it this way, up until yesterday, unless someone want to correct me on this, we had no idea Pikmin 4 was in creation.
Yeah,
that's true.
So a 2.9 Kingdom Hearts, hey, whatever. It's definitely possible.
Actually, here's something. When did 2.5 come out?
Do we remember? Last Christmas, wasn't it?
Okay, so because. Playing devil's advocate, I'm like, couldn't have been a typo or something, could it? Of like, but there, oh my god! But there wouldn't have been any reason for them to show, because going with the E3 thing, there wouldn't have been any reason. Good God, there wouldn't have been any reason for them to have mentioned anything about 2.5 there, because it already would have been out for half a year by that point. But I also don't see why. Like, I'm looking at this picture that they linked to of like. I don't see how they would have like, oh, we're planning on showing this. Oh wait, never mind, that was a mistake. It's like how does something like that with E3 happen? That doesn't seem normal. Like I don't know. That's part of what's making me really question and the fact that Derek, that we've never heard anything about this until now. It's like that's making me really kind of question the legitimacy of it a little bit.
I can see your point, but as Johnny said, stuff can just pop up somehow, and all of a sudden pieces fall into place where somebody that was trying to say something about this and nobody paid attention, and all of a sudden now he has feasible proof and people are starting to pay more attention and looking into everything, and that might be why it's all coming together now. It's hard to say for sure, obviously, but the more I talk about this, and maybe this is just me getting my hopes up, but it does seem like the best case scenario, especially since, again, there were comments by Nomura in E3 2015 that there were no plans for a combination 1.5, 2.5 thing. So it would make the most sense for 2.9 to be Dream Drop Distance and potentially this prologue / demo. But again, as Johnny said, the PS3 port of it makes that suspect, and there's all these pieces that might get put into place, but other details like, no, not quite. We're almost there, but not quite there, and it's driving me nuts a little bit, but it also has me just fascinated about what this could be, and really hopeful to see. Like, I really hope they say something at TGS. Maybe
it's 10-1 after this discussion's finished. I'll release a press release detailing everything. And just immediately outdate this video.
Of course.
Well, TGS is soon, yeah.
Yes, next week.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, they already plan on talking about 3 at the convention. What Unchained Key just came out in Japan. When does it come out in America again?
I don't think they gave a release date yet. I want to say I don't remember a release date.
I think they definitely said it was going to be out like by the end of the year. But I'm just, when was this? Wasn't there a release date? I feel like there was, but
I don't remember.
It just lists North America as 2015. It's out in Japan. It actually just came out in Japan 5 days ago. So
right. Okay. Well, I mean, I would imagine it might be like at the latest out like the holiday or something over here, but. They've definitely confirmed already. They're talking about 3 and Unchained Key at TGS. We'll probably get more than just like, here's a picture of Baymax, enjoy. Than that, yeah, like the last one. Not that wasn't cool, but I mean, like, really, come on, guys. So I don't know. I mean, it is certainly possible. Maybe they'll be like, this is what it is. It's 2.9, or there will be nothing about it. And then maybe there just won't be anything about it.
And it actually was a typo.
Yeah.
I mean, oh God, I would laugh so hard. I mean, not that they'd ever admit that either if that was the case, but I don't know. But that also would imply that this whole profile on LinkedIn is illegitimate, that it's all just like fabricated or whatever. And KH3 doesn't seem like the type of site that would make something like that up. They've been always pretty reputable as well. So I don't know. I mean, to me, I guess my last kind of thought that I have on this, like, at all is, again, thinking back to the first point of like thinking from the developer's standpoint of like, okay, they have Unchained Key out in Japan. It's coming out soon in America. It's going to be an updating, a constantly updating game with new content to tie people over until ultimately 3 is done. They're going to be updating people about 3's content continually at different conventions like they have been for now of the last few years, for as far as I know. So I don't know. I just think about like, what I guess one more question about this too. What was the gap of time released between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain's release?
About a year, I want to say.
Yeah, you know that better than I.
Was it a solid year between those?
Yeah,
it was around a year.
My God. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they would do something like that. If this listing is true, and the the pieces of everything, these different clues we have are lining up, it is definitely possible, Derek, that your theory about that is right. We might get something like that. But I don't know. I part of me is just, again, thinking from a business standpoint of like, would that benefit? Would that be like, overkill, or would it be totally feasible, and would it, add to the, buying time for whatever Century 3 will actually come out? Because since they don't have a solid release date or really anything for that yet, who knows? Mm-hmm. But
yeah. Well, what about you, Johnny? Any final thoughts on all this?
Again, it's something I'll get anyway if it turns out to be true. In the meantime, I feel I have plenty on my plate when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. Don't know if I'm gonna get that damn Unchained game yet. Then again, I also hear it's canon. I'm just gonna look at a Wikipedia article because I don't want to waste the time.
I haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game since 2. I watched the cutscenes. That's it.
Oh, you poor individual.
Well, no. I mean, then again, Unchained Key is gonna be all text. I don't think there's any voiceover in it, and fully animated cutscenes or anything. So that might be.
Well, it's a cell phone game. You gotta temper your expectations.
Yeah, I'll wait for game trailers and Kingdom Hearts Insider to team up and do Kingdom Hearts Mysteries Part 2 with like, here's everything we know about all the minute things that have been revealed in Unchained Key that maybe might be in 3. Who knows?
That blade of grass right there. Here's its backstory.
It is going to be one of Xehanort's 13 incarnations. You don't know. You didn't even know. You didn't even know, man.
Totally gonna happen. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it anyway. That's my mentality because
that's
here. Just what I do.
Yep.
God.
I'm a slave to it, and I can't help it. Indeed. But all right, guys. Well, I think that covers it for our Kingdom Hearts discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Chris, where can I find you at?
You can find me on youtube.com/Kerbifer15, and I'm just Kerbifer on like Twitter and Tumblr and most things like that. I do cartoons and vlogs and other such things. And by the way, congrats on your big subscriber milestone recently. I know Andre's not here, but I will congratulate you on everybody's behalf. You guys are awesome. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a big accomplishment. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, Johnny, where can they find you at?
Okie dokie. You can find me at youtube.com/somecallmejohnny, where I post video game reviews. I also recently just started a new Spotlight series where I give some upcoming indie games some needed attention, whether they're good or bad. Who knows? We're going to find out as I play them for the first time and give you my first impressions on them. But that's where you can find me at.
Awesome. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Kingdom Hearts and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Brump.